Hi, I'm Rachel from Jimmy Bean's Wool, and today I'm going to show you all the techniques involved in block 5 of the Cascade Yarns Knitterati gradient lapghan. There's some super cool techniques in this block, so I think you guys are really going to love it. So here's the completed square for block 5 of the Cascade Yarns Knitterati gradient lapghan. And you can see it's got a lot of beautiful texture all the way across the whole piece, and that's created by these paired decreases on one row and then increases on the next row. It makes this really pretty overall stitch. So let me get started showing you how to make these different stitches. So on my swatch here, you can see I am ready to do the next little puckered stitch. So to do that, we're going to do a couple of paired decreases. The first one is a knit two together, which is just your basic insert the right needle into the next two stitches on your left needle and then knit them together. Then the next stitch that we're going to do is an SKP, and that is slip one stitch purlwise. So insert your right needle into the first stitch on the left needle as if to purl, pull it off the needle, and then you're going to knit one stitch normally. And then you're going to come back with your left needle and insert it into the second stitch on your right needle and pull it over the top of that stitch that you had just knit. And that creates two paired decreases right next to each other on your needles. So then you're going to go ahead and knit 4 stitches to get over to the next one. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then one more time, we're going to do a knit 2 together and an SKP. So slip 1, knit 1, and then pass slip stitch over. And then we'll get to the end of the row. So we're going to turn to the wrong side here, and I'm going to show you how we create this really pretty edge here, which is made up of slip stitches. So you're going to slip the first stitch with the yarn in front, and you're going to slip it purlwise. So insert your needle into the first stitch purlwise with the yarn in front and slip it right off the needle. Okay, now there's a little garter stitch border on this square, so you'll want to pull your yarn back to the back side, knit that next stitch, and now you're ready to purl across the wrong side stitches. And while I'm getting back to the right side, I'll just tell you a little bit about this stitch. It's an interesting stitch. You do decreases on one right side row, which will bring your stitch count down. I think we cast on 60 stitches for this square, but we're going to bring it down to 46 stitches after you do all the stitches on the all the decreased stitches on the right side row. So don't worry if your stitch count is different. It's meant to be for this particular stitch pattern. And then when I get to the next right side row, we're going to increase again to get back to that 60 stitches that you originally cast on. Don't forget your little garter border, so you're going to flip the yarn to the back and go ahead and knit those last 2 stitches. Okay, and now we're on the right side again. So I'll show you that edge one more time, that nice pretty slip stitch edge. So you're going to slip with yarn in front, move the yarn to the back and knit 1. And now we're ready to begin the pattern. So we're going to start by knitting 4. Okay, so here's where we get to the knit 1 long. And knit 1 long is how we're going to do the increases that I was just explaining to you. So you can see down here, you've got, this is the knit 2 together from the previous row, and this is your SKP from the previous right side row. So what you want to do is you want to bring your right hand needle down in between those 2 stitches. And the way that I remember to do this is I make sure that there's 2 ladders from the previous row. Make sure and get underneath both of those. So you insert your right needle into the hole in between those 2 decreased stitches, wrap the yarn around your needle as if you're going to knit just like normal, and then pull that needle through the hole and pull the loop of yarn up onto that needle. And that's how you create that long stitch, which increases a stitch and also makes that really pretty little detail for this stitch pattern. Okay, so we're going to knit 2 stitches, and then we're going to do the exact same thing again, but this move gets just a little bit awkward, I think. So let me show you how I like to do it. So you're still going down into that exact same hole, which is really well defined now that we've done the first knit one long over here. So you're going to take your right needle, put it into that hole right there, wrap your yarn around, and pull it through. So what I found with this stitch is it really helps to come back and like even up the tension so that you make sure that you're going to get a nice even little, they almost look like little bunny ears. Make sure you get nice even little V or bunny ears there. And that's how you do that stitch that increases back to your normal stitch count. So I'm going to knit over and show you guys this one more time because I know this stitch can be a little bit complicated. Okay, so knit 4, and now we're back to the next spot where we want to do knit 1 long again. So once again, take your right needle, insert it, make sure you're 2 ladders down, right in between these 2 decreases from the previous right side row. Insert your needle in, wrap the yarn around, pull it through just as if you were knitting a stitch off of a needle, just like normal. And then that long loop creates the increase stitch. Then you're going to knit 2 and come back and do the same thing again. This is the awkward one where you're kind of, stretching your knitting a little bit to get that right needle into that hole. Wrap the yarn around, pull it through, and then come back in and just even out your tension just a little bit to get nice even bunny ears. And that is how you do the increase, the knit 1 increase for this square. Thanks so much for knitting along with me. Be sure to check back in 3 weeks for block 6 of the Cascade Yarns Knitterati Gradient Lapghan. And also be sure to check out our YouTube channel for more tutorials just like this one.